Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inspired and Empowered Living TV show and podcast. We are live Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern on talk4tv.com, w4wn.com, and my YouTube channel. And today we will be talking about reducing relationship stress during the holidays. Are there some people in your life that you are not looking forward to seeing during the holidays? Find out how to manage your relationship stress and live an inspired and empowered life. You can also learn 3 principles on how to boost your self-care and be more centered during the holidays, how to more effectively deal with difficult people, and discover the number one mistake that would keep you from having healthier relationships. Together, let's create a life you love. I'm your host, Nanci Deutsch, licensed clinical social worker, certified hypnotherapist, and intuitive breakthrough expert. I combine my counseling, coaching, and intuitive abilities to transform your life. And this show is not a replacement for therapy or counseling. It is for educational purposes only. Welcome, everybody, and let's talk relationships. First of all, what I want to remind you is that relationships can be our greatest challenges and teachers, and they can be the most rewarding aspects of our life. And during the holidays, we may have some people that we're really looking forward to seeing, and some people, well, you could live without them, or you really don't want to see them. And so we're going to be talking how to navigate it all today. Now, last show, we ended with no's. N-O's. And the reason why I bring that up now is because the word no, N-O, is a really important word during the holidays, during all times during the year, to support you in self-care and reduce your stress. Because learning to say no, and here's the thing, no doesn't always mean easy. Sometimes it can be really, really hard to say no to someone you love. And yet, look at it this way. When you love yourself and you're doing self-care, you're making yourself the priority over someone else. And most of us didn't learn that. Most of us never learned to make ourselves a priority. Most of us learned to take care of everybody else. And now learning to take care of yourself can seem selfish, and I'm putting that in air quotes because it seems like other people will call you selfish. And what I want to say is it's not selfish to have essential self-care. And the word no, N-O, is important for essential self-care. So when you have people in your life, and why do we have relationship stress? What creates that relationship stress? So when you get triggered by another person, and what I mean by triggered is you have an emotional reaction. So it may be something that someone said, or maybe it's something that someone did or didn't do, and it really upset you. And you may get really angry. If you feel really angry or really annoyed at someone, then you've been triggered. If you feel perhaps really nervous or intimidated to be around them, you've been triggered. And if you feel perhaps something, maybe there's grief. Okay, so we have a question that came in. Country Corners Gazette, will we recognize this right from the start, or will it come on as we go along? Well, it depends. Sometimes you may notice it right away. Like if you're talking to someone, or let's say you're at a family table, a family gathering, and someone says something, and all of a sudden you notice that you feel really angry or you feel really annoyed. Or you start feeling like really nervous to be around them. It's becoming aware that you've been triggered, because once you become aware, then you can do something about it. Now, usually what I will tell you is I support you not to react, and not to react by saying something or doing something that you may later regret. And if you're not sure, the best action is to take no action until you are clear of what you want to say or do. So you may recognize it right away that you've been triggered. Or there are times, and I know this has happened for me, where it'll be like a day later, and then I'm like thinking about the event. And all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, I was really triggered by what that person said. And Mickey says it's not easy to contain jerk reactions. So, Mickey, I agree with you. It's not easy to contain jerk reactions or automatic reactions. And what I want to support you in doing is learning. See, this is a learning opportunity. So anything I'm saying doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it can be a learning opportunity so that if you have a reaction the next time you can, and what's the best thing to do? Breathe. Okay? Breathing, taking a 10-second pause, even counting to 10 before you react. You're not sure. Now, here's the thing. If you have an automatic reaction, as Mickey says, a jerk reaction, look, the most important thing is that you realize, oh, I just reacted. I just reacted to this person. Okay, what do I want to do now? Now, if you can catch yourself before the reaction, like you notice that someone says something and you're like, ooh, I am so angry at what they just said. Breathe. Count to 10. And then either you can choose to say something or not. When you become consciously aware of that you've had a reaction, that's when you can actually, it takes your power back from that other person. And that's when you can make a conscious choice to either say something or not. Now, you may choose that you do not want to say something to them. It really depends on what you're sensing or feeling at the moment. It may be the best thing to ignore them because they have maybe say something really stupid or really silly. And sometimes it's best to just ignore it instead of reacting. So here's the thing. Now know that this is a journey. It's a process, learning to not react right away when someone says something. And again, sometimes some family members are so, I remember at family gatherings, there was one family member in my family when I was growing up that most of us really disliked. And he was disagreeable. It was my uncle. And all my parents, my aunts, everybody else at the dinner table, he was just a very insulting, obnoxious person. And I would watch sometimes family members react. And I also remember when I was growing up, as I got older, I remember because I would feel intimidated by him because he was a very big, loud, obnoxious character. And I remember one day thinking to myself, how am I going to choose to be this holiday season? How am I going to choose being around him? And I remember thinking, if I react to him, if I get angry or fearful because of what he says or does, I've let him win. And I said, you know what? I am not going to do that anymore. And what I did is I would go into family gatherings feeling empowered, really making sure that I felt really grounded and centered and clear and in my empowered. And I was not going to let him bother me. And you know what? I didn't. He was going to do what he was going to do because that's just who he was. And I was going and I did my self-talk. See, self-talk, positive self-talk is really an important tool for you all during this holiday season and every day of your life. Is what do you choose to say to yourself? And I was going to say, what I said was, stay in your power, Nanci. You got this. Don't let him trigger you. He's not worth it. And I breathe and I ground and really make sure that I stayed in my power. And I had a lovely time. Every time I allowed myself to be empowered and not let him or anyone else affect me, I chose to have a good time. And I'm sharing this with all of you because I want you all to know that you too can make a conscious choice not to let anyone in your family affect you and ruin your good time. Choose who you want to be with, socialize with. Allow yourself to enjoy being with your family and your loved ones. Make it a conscious choice. So, what happens? How can you work with triggers? Well, first of all, this is a learning opportunity. Remember that, okay? And again, it isn't easy always to recognize, but as soon as you become aware that you are, like I said, angry, annoyed, fearful, or maybe there's shame or guilt. As soon as you recognize a feeling, you can say to yourself, oh, I'm noticing that I'm feeling a feeling, and I am not going to let them win. I am not going to let this ruin my night. Because here's the thing, if you notice a feeling and you notice you've been triggered, you could go back to it at a later time to try to understand it. And what I want to support you in doing is, if you notice that you've been triggered, you may want to imagine putting it on a back burner, take the energy of what you're feeling and allow yourself to imagine putting it in the distance. And then coming back to present time, to right here, right now. And breathe. And breathe. And know that once you become aware, and now, why do you get triggered? What is the reason that you've become triggered? So, I'm going to do my Psych 101 lesson. You have your conscious mind, and your conscious mind is the part of you that has become aware that you've been triggered. Your conscious mind is the part of you that joined us today. So thank you for being here, conscious mind of yours. Your conscious mind is the one who makes the decision, the conscious decision that empowers you. Now, your subconscious mind is the one that reacts. When you've gotten triggered, it's coming from your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is the part of you from the moment you were conceived to present time that reacts, that has all the limiting beliefs, all the emotions. When you react, when you've gotten triggered, it's coming from your subconscious mind. And usually it's something that happened in your past. Usually it's something that's happened when you were a child or a teenager or a young adult, and you're still reacting. And I also want you all to know, everybody, this happens for everybody, okay? So it's nothing to be concerned about. It just is. It's part of being human. We all have a subconscious mind and we all react. And it's not that you react or not react. It's when you've reacted to become conscious and aware that someone is triggering you and coming back, talking yourself back so that you can calm yourself down, be present, have a good time. Now, if you need to remove yourself for a few minutes, go to the bathroom, go to another room, try to calm yourself down, do what you need to do for that self-care. And self-care, again, is crucial. It's learning to calm yourself down when you've noticed you reacted. It's learning to say no when you need to say no. And again, I know no is not an easy word for many of us. Because if you want to be loved or you want to be liked or you don't want to hurt somebody, sometimes it's really hard to say no. But I want to remind you, no is an important word to learn. Learning to say no is really an essential part of self-care. And when you've gotten triggered, when you've noticed that you're reacting, ask yourself, now, excuse me, still getting over being sick. When you've reacted and gotten triggered, ask yourself, well, and it may not be in this moment. It may not be in the moment that you got triggered. It may be when you need to come back to it so that you can process it and understand it more so that the next time that it happens, you can do something about it. So ask yourself, what is getting triggered? What's getting triggered for me right now? What is this person, or what did this person do or say that really triggered me? And like, for example, my uncle, he was just obnoxious. He was a know-it-all. You know those people, they know it all. You can't like tell them anything because they know. And it was all about him and he knew best. So there was no room for anybody else, really. And he could be really abusive to people. He was not a nice person when he was alive. Misty, thank you. This is actually relaxing listening to the story. Thank you, Misty. And so the bottom line is, I said to myself, he's not a nice person. And you know what? He was probably triggering himself. When I was growing up, he was always there. He was my uncle by marriage, but he was always at the family gatherings. I don't like people like that. And it's not someone who I want to be around. It's not someone who I want to be with, but he was always at the family gatherings. And so then finally, and I would get triggered all the time. And yeah, Mickey, I would react. Okay. I knew I was reacting. And there were times where, when I was growing up, I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know how to change it. And then as I started getting older and as I started working on myself and as I started healing and realizing what he was triggering in me were the people who were the know-it-alls or abusive people. I did not like them. But I knew he would be part of the family gathering, and I did not, like, I made a conscious choice. I wanted to be with my family, and he happened to be there, so I was not going to let him win. Nope, 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 nope. And so as I started doing my healing work, and I started taking my power back, and I started telling myself, he's not worth it. I'm not going to let him win. I am choosing to stay present and grounded. And if I noticed during the dinner that he did get away, he got in or he started triggering me, I would go to another room to calm myself down, gain my composure, and go back to the dinner table. And that is what I want to support all of you in doing. What I want to support all of you in doing most of all is knowing that you are empowered to take care of yourself, to do what you need to do as long as it's not hurting you or someone else, because you don't want to be hurtful or abusive, but you want to be in self-care. And that means sometimes it means saying no. Sometimes it means setting boundaries like, this is not okay with me, or you need to stop this, or getting up off at the table because you choose not to listen to something, and coming back when you choose to. It's doing the self-care that will support you during the holiday event. And that's what's most important. Is what can you do to take care of you? And I really want you asking this question during your holidays. If you're concerned about a person or two or whatever, what do I need to do to take care of me during this holiday dinner or during the holidays? So, really want to support you in asking yourself this question. Okay? Now, I want to let you know that we have a guided meditation to help you get into a calmer, clearer state. And not only do we have the meditation, but we have a PDF to go with it. So go to inspiredandempoweredliving.com/meditation, meditation. And it's the name of the show, inspiredandempoweredliving.com/meditation. And download it so that you can feel yourself clearing your energy, calming yourself down, getting into a clearer space, and asking a question, connecting with yourself, asking a question that will help support you in making a decision. So definitely download the meditation. And Rebel, you can post that in the chat. Now, the most important thing for all of you during this holiday season is not do you react or not react. It's noticing, becoming more aware of yourself during these holiday dinners so that you can then start assessing what do you need to do to keep taking care of you during the holidays, during the holiday dinners, and going forward in your life. This is about gaining clarity about what you can do going forward that will support you in being healthier yourself and having healthier relationships going forward. And the more awareness that you have in your relationships and how you are in your relationships, the more you can take conscious action, which empowers you to create healthier relationships. And so, one of the most important aspects is learning how to come from that calmer, clearer space. And so you may have gotten help to clear your energy, connect more deeply. So when I say connect more deeply, what I mean by that is you want to connect to that adult part of you or your higher self, that wise, unconditionally loving part of you. When you have been triggered, when you are triggered, what happens is you're not in present time anymore. You've actually regressed to a younger state, to the little child inside of you where that situation first began. And so it's learning to heal those parts of you that need healing, connecting with that part of you so that you can then start making changes that you need to make in order to help you have a better time during the holidays and better relationships. And we're going to continue with this next week. I have more that I want to share with you to support you during this holiday season, how to de-stress. And Misty says, Happy Thanksgiving. And I say, Misty, Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you Americans, and I'm wishing you all around the world Happy Thanksgiving wherever you are. And I want you all to know that I am grateful for you. I'm grateful for all of you who listen live and join me and post in the chat room. And I am grateful. Country Corner says, Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Thank you. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to all of you. And so I'm wishing you all, wherever you are, a happy Thanksgiving. And we will continue this next week for more understanding about relationships, to reduce relationship stress and to reduce stress during this holiday season. And so I wish you all, Mickey says, Happy Thanksgiving too. Happy Thanksgiving, Mickey. And I wish you all, again, a happy Thanksgiving. And join us next Tuesday live, Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern on talk4tv.com, w4wn.com, and my YouTube channel. And you can listen to the podcast on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, Pandora, and Amazon, and many more. And I wish you all an inspired and empowered day and an inspired and empowered week. Have a great one, everybody. Bye for now.